Okay, thank you for being here. As I was just saying, my kitties are having a wild time chasing birds, which is their instinct, their nature. They're doing it from within the catio or from within the house where the windows and the screens are. I don't try to teach them about Aparigraha. It's not their nature to practice Aparigraha. It is their nature to practice birding. So we respect the nature of the creatures. What we know about human nature, however, is that if we're practicing parigraha, which is grasping or that sense of possessiveness or hoarding and so on, we know that that leads to states of suffering because it perpetuates a particular quality in the mind. We would call it grasping, clinging, wanting. So we're going to take another deep dive into that today. And what I'd like to do for this morning's practice is really focus on the physical practice that will prepare us for pranayama and the Brahmari breath as well. So we can potentially experience a deeper, more tranquil sense of meditation, a natural state of meditation, which again is called sahaja or sahaj. I mentioned that last week as well. So please take a comfortable seat. You can rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes. And come into your vertical plumb line. And simultaneously, as you set aside that which is not relevant to your practice, setting it outside the frame of your attention, also allow whatever is relevant, whatever you're arriving to class with this morning. So you could imagine first that you're kind of disembarking the non-necessaries. And that will naturally give you a greater view of what is necessary or what is alive or pertinent for your practice this morning. Might use the breath to help you with this process, like on the inhale from the base upwards, sort of drawing into your awareness what your body is bringing to the practice today. You might also think of it as your psyche or your inner emotional world. What is arising during the inhale? And with the exhale, that kind of disembarking process, letting go of what is non-necessary. Raise your hands to your heart. Let's chant the Gayatri Mantra together. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimoi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo devasyari mohi yoyona prachodayata. Om Bhurvasya Tatsavitur Varenyam Argo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. Exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Open your eyes. So there's another concept I want to introduce you to or remind you of this morning. It's called Tiaga. So if we have Aparigraha, non-grasping, non-possessiveness, non-hoarding, and then that sort of clearing out the space in which we could experience our natural meditative mind, sahaja, there is another principle worth adding here called Tiaga. Tiaga means we're giving up the lesser desire for the greater desire. So for example, giving up a certain quality of possessiveness to be more free in the mind, or even literally getting rid of possessions. Maybe they're not even in your sight, but you know there's a storage unit somewhere that has stuff, or a closet in your house, or a cupboard that's always like jam-packed. When you clear that stuff out, you're getting rid of the lesser stuff, and you can feel in these, even if just clean one part of a cupboard, you feel this kind of clarity or space or ease or relief that you're no longer postponing that thing and you're not storing those non-necessary items. Or you at least found out what was necessary to keep and what you could give away. So Tiaga means giving up a lesser desire for a greater desire. It could be giving up the lesser desire of, let's say, how you're perceived and like perseverating on that or ruminating on that and moving into the greater desire of knowing yourself very deeply. So giving up how we're perceived being a like crowded priority in the mind and practicing instead really feeling into the integrity with which we want to live. And those who notice that. And those who don't or don't have a clear ability to perceive others, then we leave that to their karma, that they're not able to perceive clearly. Even if we're resting in our integrity, we leave that to their karma, for example. So Tiaga and Aparigraha can go very nicely together. And so let's use these practices during asana today. So we're going to chart a course towards pranayama and meditation to see what that experience can be like when it's a sahaja, the naturalness. So let's scoop the blankets back. And as we were doing earlier, I think it was last week actually, take one block on the flat setting and one block on the medium setting. And when you place the blocks like this is where your shoulder blades are going to be. The second block is for your head. So please lie back, put the base of the shoulder blades at the bottom edge of the block. And just give a little test drive to see if your arms come down to the floor in Cactus Pose. It's possible that they won't, but it's possible that you could start there. And wherever your arms then feel like they could land to be relaxed, let them go to that place, which for some of you, excuse me for hitting the microphone, some of you might find that that place is going to be down alongside the torso. Move my blankets out of the way, which could end up being a blanket fort for kitties. Let's see. Okay, so now noticing when you have the arms wherever they landed, notice the opening that begins in the upper thoracic, mid-thoracic, lower thoracic spines, in the heart, in your lungs. Support that opening. Raise your arms and cross the forearms in front of your face here. Hold the opposite elbow with the opposite hand, and then come overhead. Based on how your block is set up back there, you might find that your arms are prevented from going further because the block is there, or that your arms feel relieved to touch the block and rest there. If you'd like, you could turn the block sideways if you don't want the arms to be blocked by the block. With the arms overhead, start lengthening the upper arms towards your elbows. Step one leg out on the floor, step the second leg out on the floor, and imagine giving yourself this experience of traction. This is a good time to come into the Ujjayi breath and to make it that most subtle and smooth experience of the breath as we've been practicing. And keeping the Ujjayi breath available to you, straighten your arms, reach them overhead. And then exhale out to the side and see if there's a little more range for your cactus pose and where the arms want to be at their most relaxed. And then bend the knees, place your hands under your hips, palms face down, and raise up to sitting. Take the block on the medium and then on the tall settings. Okay, and lie back, please. So the bottom of the shoulder blades goes on the first edge of the first block. That means the top of the shoulder blade here is not touching the block. You've just got the lower corner and like the bottom half of the shoulder blade on the block. Let's take the arms and see what cactus pose would feel like here. And then raise your arms up and cross the opposite elbow and the opposite hand. And let's go overhead. Lengthen your upper arms towards your elbows and lengthen from your hips to your heels. Again, come to the Ujjayi breath. So there's a quality of smoothness and support, a place where your mind is drawn into your body. Your next inhale, sweep the arms to straighten them. Turn your palms to face each other. And slowly make the upper part of a snow angel to bring the arms out into a T shape. And then bend the elbows from that T shape and see if the back of your forearms might reach the floor. Like it's possible that your elbows will touch, it's possible that they won't. But in the effort to bring the elbows and the forearms down, you're going to be squeezing the upper back, and the chest and heart will have a little lift right there. So breathe in. And exhale, relax the upper back. Repeat that. Breathe in, press the elbows down, raise your heart a little bit, still supported by the block. Exhale, release. And once more. And then exhale to release. And then place your hands, palms face down under your hips, bend your knees, and press yourself up to sitting. Now take the medium block and put it on the tall setting like this. And the other block you're going to keep on the tall setting. And it's possible that that block's going to feel too short for some of you. So you could add a blanket on top of it or underneath it. And this time when you come down, you put the bottom edge of the shoulder blades. And it really goes right between the shoulder blades, right? So you've got the block might feel a little bit pokey because it's kind of square or rectangular-ish. So when you get that set, then interlace your fingers, lift your head, and rest your knuckles on the tall block behind you. Breathe in. And then take the right arm and straighten just that one. Reach it overhead. You can keep the left hand behind your head. I'm going to ask you to bend your right elbow and see if you could bring your right hand so that you're going to put the palm facing out and the back of the hand against the blocks. Then reach over and hold your left elbow with, your right elbow with your left hand. Rest your head back on the block. And stretch the tricep as you lengthen your upper arm. And then you've got the right hand pointing inside out, basically. Your palm is facing out and the back of the hand is against one of those blocks. Now inhale and stretch your arm to straighten it and turn your palm to face the midline. So you've got what we call external rotation right here. Reach over with your left hand and rotate your tricep towards your nose. And breathe in. And bring your hands back to hold your head. You can interlace the fingers, rest your knuckles on the block. Now the second side. So take the left arm, straighten it overhead. Bend your left elbow, bring your hand along the inside edge of the blocks there. And reach over with your right hand to hold your left elbow and rest your head on the other block. Use the right hand to support the left elbow. Picture the arm as like a telescope from your shoulder to your elbow. Okay, now breathing in. When you exhale, lengthen your left arm to straighten it. You could take your palm to face the midline, reach the right hand across, and turn your left tricep in towards your ear or your nose, whatever you'd like to think of that as. And once more, bring the arms into a box shape and take them overhead. And then out in a kind of snow angel fashion. And let's take the hands, palms face down under the hips. Lift your chin towards your throat and roll up to sitting. Okay, good morning to your upper back. I hope you love your blocks. Let's set them so that they're, what is this called? It's a grammatical thing. The equal sign is one way to say it, but there's something else coming to mind. Anyway, place your blocks like that, please. And come over to Vajrasana. I know that might have been a lot for the upper back there. So let's come into cat pose with your hands on the blocks and round the back of the body, broaden from the top of your sacrum into your lumbar spine, your kidneys, your upper back, your heart. And then shift into cow pose, bring your heart forward. Now I'd like you to place your elbows on the centers of the blocks and palms face up. Then you can do palms facing each other, palms together, and then spread the fingers so that you've got the wrists going wide. So if you keep the palms together, your arms and shoulders are going to be internally rotated. But if you separate the heels of the hands, the arms are externally rotated. And then reach back without tipping your blocks over. So the hands end up behind your head there. Let's broaden the back of the waist. You can think of it almost like a parachute in the back, especially where the lumbar spine meets the sacrum. And as you're reaching back like this, it's okay for the head to release down right now.
but keep the inner armpits and the inner shoulders rolling up towards the ceiling. And the way that you do that is by sensing that you separate the heels of the hands and the wrists. The forearms are as wide as the elbows, and therefore the upper arm bones are being rotated. The triceps are going down towards the floor. Okay, let's inhale and come forward. And onto your forearms, you can put the palms together and come into Sphinx pose. And in your Sphinx pose, press the elbows down and joyfully lift the heart up. Lengthen back even to the tops of the feet and the toes. Reach up through the crown of your skull, the base of your skull. Roll the shoulders back, widen the collarbones. Let's try it now, palms face up, so the shoulders have even more rotation available to them. And then exhale, root down into your knees and elbows. Lift up to table pose, place your hands on your blocks and reach back to child's pose. And for this morning, I'd like you to keep the hands on the blocks in this child pose. Release the weight of your head down towards the floor. Touch your hips back towards your heels. And imagine rolling the inner armpits up towards the ceiling. So you could think of the outer shoulder blade, the outer shoulder, the outer tricep rolling down towards the floor. It may help you to turn your palms on your blocks so that they point towards each other. Your thumbs will be pointing up towards the ceiling. You're on just the pinky finger side of the hand. Think of your hands actually as sort of mirroring the shoulder blades right now, and that we want the shoulder blades to go wide from the spine. And then roll forward to table pose. And let's sit into Vajrasana and take notice of how things are feeling. There's a muscle I'd like to introduce you to. You already have it, it's on your body. And sometimes people have a hard time knowing how to stretch this particular muscle. So let's first do scalenes, and then we'll do upper traps, and then we'll look for the levator scapula. Now this practice can be done kneeling in Vajrasana, but you could also kneel on a block, or you could do it standing. But first thing is press the heel of the right hand down and tip your left ear towards your left shoulder. And then take your left hand to hold your right collarbone, like you're going to press it down a little bit. And then you can lift the chin very slightly. Those are your scalenes on the right side of your neck. Also bow the chin very slightly. You may feel into the upper trapezius. This movement of the head here that you're doing, do it thoughtfully and slowly, holding the right collarbone down. You can see the spring in Nakula's body. He's like a Tigger from Winnie the Pooh right now. Pretty excited. Okay, let's bring the head back up to center. And now wrap your right arm around behind and cross it. So if you wanted to, you could hold your left elbow with your right hand. Raise the right shoulder up and set it back. And then tip your left ear towards your left shoulder. Bring your chin in towards your throat. And imagine you're lengthening the space between the upper inner corner of your right shoulder blade and the base of your skull. So you're near to the upper trapezius muscle. Of course, it has friends. And then raise your head back up to center. And here is where I'm going to introduce you to, let the arm dangle, please. I'll introduce you to levator scapula. So the word levator and the word elevator are connected, and it's a muscle that elevates the scapula. but it's hard to reach because of the way that it's attached and where we want to have the upper inner corner of the shoulder blade moving down away from the base of the skull. Now, when you do this, you don't have such control over that. If you reach over, you've got the upper inner corner of the shoulder blade, maybe even pushing out away from the rib cage, right? So to help that part of the shoulder blade move down, take your right arm overhead, bend your elbow, and raise your right elbow up using your left hand. Now that spot on your shoulder blade, and I'll show you where I am, too bad we don't have a close-up camera, but if I put my thumb right there, my left thumb is actually on my left shoulder blade. That's where we want to be taking the shoulder blade down the back of the body. And then turn your head and try to gaze down. For you guys, you've got your right arm overhead, so turn your head to your left and look down past the right side, left side of your torso. Let me come back so I'm mirroring you. And it's possible that when you put your arm in this position, you actually couldn't rotate your head very far. That'd be a sign that your levator scapula is tight. Bring the head back to center, release your right arm. And notice when you put your hands in your lap, what is the difference now between the right side and the left side of the neck? This is a good chance to ask yourself about Aparigraha. What can I let go of? What am I carrying that I don't need to be carrying? And we do mean physical possessions, but we also mean, what are you carrying that isn't yours to carry? Can you give it back to the person to whom it belongs? Left side. So press the heel of the left hand down and tip your right ear towards your right shoulder. Bring your right hand up to hold the left collarbone and kind of hold it down. Bring your chin in towards your throat, and let's breathe into the left side of the neck. Slowly open the chin away from the throat. Yeah, your scalenes. This is why it's so important to have your, whatever devices you're using, to have your posture considered when you're working on your phone, your laptop, your iPad, whatever it is. So also really important if you're working with a monitor that it's the right height for your head. Otherwise you have these really tight muscles on the front side of your neck because you might be looking down or pushing your head forward. Okay, let's release this one and wrap your left arm around behind. Roll the left shoulder back. You might hold your right elbow with your left hand. It's just an option. And then tip your left ear up and your right ear down. We're going to bring the chin in towards the throat. Think of lengthening between the upper corner of the shoulder blade and the base of the skull. You're really addressing the upper trapezius muscle right now. Okay, and then let's raise the chin away from the left collarbone. Release your left arm. Let that dangle. And now we get to touch into the levator scapula. This is one of my favorite, it's like almost like a top secret way to get into the muscle, but it's one of my favorite stretches to give to people because we don't know how tense we are there. So bend the left elbow overhead, reach for your elbow with your right hand. If possible, take your thumb into that corner on the scapula and just encourage it to press down. When you put your thumb there, that muscle should feel relaxed under your thumb because you're not using the muscle right now to raise the shoulder blade. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to feel relaxed, like no tension or no tenderness, but it shouldn't feel like it's engaged. Okay, so press down with your left thumb in that spot. Now turn your head to the right and try looking down. Breathe into the left side of your neck. Encourage the left elbow to go up. You can think about widening the left shoulder blade around the side of the rib cage. And then release your head back to center, liberate your arms. And rest your hands in your lap. Just watch for a few moments of the joy of what's happening running down the arms there. Please come up to standing. Thanks for playing with me on that. Let's take a wide stance. Make your feet parallel. Walk your hands forward on your blocks. It's possible you could imagine the blocks are a source of traction. Walk your fingers to the far edge of the blocks and just take the fingerprints over that side of the block to secure them. Draw your hips back and root down into your heels. Now keeping your right hand where it is, let's take the left hand under and reach across so that the back of your left hand, so your palm's going to face out, the back of the left hand comes around the outside of the right shin. Twist under your right arm, but here's the thing, and I wish we could be in person because I see this very frequently when we're in the in-person class. When you're twisting under your right upper arm, keep turning your right tricep in towards your nose. Put the weight into the pinky finger side of the hand if you have to, so that your right arm is rotating externally. You want to sense that your right shoulder blade is getting wider from the spine, not crunching in against it. Feel free to turn your head to the right, but also give it permission to release a bit. You don't have to hold it firmly. Your ear is not glued to your bicep. And then exhale, release your left hand back to its block. And again, walk the fingers out past the edge of the block and give yourself a bit of traction right there. And then let's take the right hand, the back of the right hand around the outside of the left shin. And as you're ducking under in the twist, rotate your torso to your left, but rotate the left tricep in towards the nose. So we could say down and in towards the nose. Put an emphasis on the pinky finger side of the hand. And widen your left shoulder blade away from your spine. And then release and walk your right hand back out over to its block. And let's please go heel, toe, until you're standing in Uttanasana. So your feet can be hip distance wide. Walk the hands forward and take a deep breath across the back of the body. And then walk your hands back towards your feet, up to your hips, and please rise up to standing. Okay, and good morning once again. Let's just take notice, how does the upper part of your lighthouse feel? I often refer to this final column as the lighthouse, which we're coming up to the light that comes from this sixth chakra, clear vision. So notice how the upper part of your lighthouse is feeling. And then please take a wide stance. And let's take the blocks and place them. So you've got a stack of blocks over here, medium and tall. Turn your right foot directly to the right and step the left heel slightly back. Okay, join your hands together. Aparigraha means loosening our grip on the things that we possess, even our actual objects. So loosening our grip, not carrying that which is not ours to carry. You can imagine giving that back to others, what is theirs to carry and not yours. With your next inhale, sweep the hands down, take them wide, palms face the floor. And then exhale and tip over so that your right hand comes to the block. And if possible, you can do a flat palm on the block so that you're able to really press firmly down against that block. Raise the left arm up and try gazing down to your right as far as your head can comfortably go. Bring your chin in towards your throat. And then open the chin gently away from your throat. Bring it in, lift the base of your skull, especially on the left side. And lengthen your gaze along the floor, open your throat slightly. And then come to neutral with your head. And rotate your left outer hip, left low belly, left rib cage, left chest and heart, left shoulder, left arm, and turn your head. So with your head kind of in neutral, you can rotate to look up towards your left thumb. And then turn your palm to face overhead and sweep your left arm past your left ear. Press into the right arm firmly. So that's a source of strength for you. So are the legs. And with your exhale, go ahead and look down and rise up to center. Let's make the feet parallel. Turn the right foot in and notice the left side of your face, the left side of your neck, your left arm. What can you let go of that isn't yours to carry? So that you do have what is yours to work with. So turn the blocks. Sorry, Nakula. Left foot directly to the left. Hi, honey. It's really irresistible what you're doing. Hi. How's your morning? All those birds. My goodness. And then you got your little daughters chasing you around. Yeah. Okay, please join your hands to your heart. Sweep the arms wide. My blocks are being toyed with by Nakula. Please come down and place your left palm flat so you can be really firm and strong there. Reach the right arm up and gaze down past your left foot to the extent that you can. So in gazing down, bring your chin in towards your throat, lift the right side of the base of the skull, like the right side of the occipital ridge. And then gaze in the direction of your right toes and beyond. And bring your gaze back in, chin towards the throat, make the left arm strong. And once more, go slowly. Open your throat and your gaze. And then draw in to neutral. And pressing firmly into your left arm, start rotating inside the right hip, so in the inner belly, and then mid belly, upper belly, chest and heart, your right arm and your nose. And turn your right hand to face past your head and sweep your arm overhead. Energize your legs and breathe smoothly and deeply. Exhale, start looking down, rotate your head slowly.
And inhale, rise up to center. And let's make the feet parallel. Reach back to interlace your fingers, please. And when you roll the shoulders open, widen the collarbones, lift up through your heart. And then please come down and place your head on your cat. Of course, you need to have the right size cat for that. Raise your arms up, squeeze the shoulder blades in towards the spine now, widen your collarbones. And then inhale, glide forward through your heart, raise up to standing. And we're going to go heel toe into mountain pose. And find your way to stand. Just checking to see what is the quality of your lighthouse now. What have you been carrying in your body that you could let go of? Please open your eyes, and this is a good time to get your chair to bring onto your mat, please. You're also going to want 2 blankets. I'd like you to have 2 blocks as well. Nicole, how about if I go back a little ways like that? I think you might be right where my head's going to be. I mean, it's possible. You're going to sense it when it happens. Okay, please take your blankets and fold them in the quarter fold. Like this, and then in half again. Got a little bit sloppy there. I might have to disturb you, Nakula. It might happen. Which is my greater desire, for yoga or to give you the freedom to be where you are. Okay, so a little stack of blankets right there close to the chair. And I'd like you to have your blocks close by. I'm also going to recommend, if you have a sandbag, that you reach for that and put it close by too. Okay, so here's my sandbag. I'll just keep it at the ready. Okay, so when we come down, we're going to come off the chair backwards and the shoulders end up here. So just give a little check that the shoulders are going to have a firm place to land, that that's not going to be a sort of topply experience of your blankets. And then come up to stand and sit on your chair facing the upper back of the chair. It looks like, by my estimation, Nakula, you are right where I'm going to be in a moment. So let's slide the legs around the chair, and then you slide your hips toward the back of the chair. And then you're going to be sliding backwards off of your chair. I have hair in my mouth. Here we go. Okay, so when you come down, you're going to have your shoulders positioned on the blankets. And a couple things here: the height of the blankets, the length of your torso is going to determine where you are on the chair. And I think I've said this before, that for me, it's a comfortable place to be on the chair. But for others, you're going to want padding between the top of the sacrum and the edge of the chair. So please provide that for yourself. But I'd like you to keep the elbows bent and hold the chair leg so that you can press the shoulders really firmly down against the blankets. And then we take the legs up, and this is called candlestick or supported shoulder stand. To acclimate, allow your breathing to become smooth and steady. Your gaze can be in towards your heart. Shoulders steadily anchored towards the blankets, and your shoulder blades supporting your heart to raise up. Your head is weight bearing, but it should not feel like it's weight bearing 100% of your body weight. Of course, it's always fine to do the first iteration of this pose, which is called legs up the wall pose. So for somebody that you're working with who might be more of a beginner than you are, that's where they could begin. Or on days when you feel like that's the speed that you're going at, you could do legs up the wall pose. You won't have the same influence for the throat and the thyroid or the heart, but it has the circulatory influence. Let's bend the knees now and place your feet on the upper back of the chair to orient, and then down to the seat of the chair. And then watching out that you don't pull your hair, place your hands on the floor behind you. And slide down off of your chair. Thank you, Nakula. And place your hips so that you have them on the two blankets and the blankets did not become a landslide. Now let's put one block to the side of the head on the right and one block to the side of the head on the left. And you can put the blocks on the medium setting, but you could also try the flat setting, which means you're going to have the sandbag also touching parts of the temples. And that could be helpful to some of us. So we take the sandbag and we're going to place it This is a bit like prioritizing the inversion poses. This one kind of mimics headstand, shoulder stand for the benefit on the pituitary and the pineal glands. And it is said that those poses, shoulder stand and headstand, are really to prepare us for meditation. Well, why is that? Let's see what we can find out in this Shavasana as your body rests and integrates the practice. What might happen for the mind? You're welcome to close your eyes. Sometimes the eye pillow will still fit when you have the sandbag and sometimes it won't. But please don't put the sandbag on your eyes. That can be detrimental, not so beneficial. Relax the place right between your eyebrows and deeply relax the eyes themselves. Take your physical gaze downward and inward, perhaps towards the heart.
in the downward and inward gaze. Don't evaluate, you're not looking for something. We're just resting the gaze at the heart as a place of stillness or refuge. Get more slow and more still. Holding on to nothing, grasping for nothing. Allow the mind to become very still. It's taking refuge in the heart, in the present moment. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to grasp for. An awareness to the present. And just take a slightly deeper breath in. And reach up to remove the sandbag backwards. And then lower the arms back to savasana. The sensations that go across the forehead there. And in time, when you feel that those have come back to neutral, then we'll make our transition from savasana. Notice even the very subtle experience of sensation. Some of that is circulation moving back in, so you may feel a quality of warmth over the forehead. When you feel it's come back to neutral, then bring your knees towards your chest. And roll to your side. They rest on your side for a few moments. And as you do that, maybe bring the knees towards the chest as well. And you can use both hands to bring yourself up to sitting, please. Seat. Or meditation. So when you take your seat now, make it an upright, comfortable seat that you don't have to have any sense of being sort of a short timer or get disturbed by something in your physical body. So you've got your blankets as you like. You can use the blocks if you want to. And then rest your hands in your lap. Let it sense this quality like a lighthouse, what is happening now across the forehead and with the pace of your mind. Our finger and thumb together in the yoga mudra for the first chakra. The word is lam. May we release the hold we have on things like fear or possessiveness. May we release the hold we have somewhere in the body. So smooth inhale and then lam 5 times. And we'll do that 5 times. Lam, 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 lam. Lum, 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 lum. Lum, 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 lum. Lum, 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 lum.
Second chakra. May we release our grip on craving and aversion. The word is VAM, V-A-M. Wam, 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 wam. 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 Third chakra. The word is Ram, R-A-M. May we loosen the mental habit of greed or envy. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram.
Ram, 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 ram. Fourth chakra. Maybe loosen the mental habits of ill will, judgment, comparison, aloofness, pity, sympathy, as in sympathy with a hierarchy. Maybe loosen those habits. The word is yam, Y-A-M. Yum, 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 yum. 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 Raise the hands up for Brahmari, which we'll do for the fifth chakra. So you use the middle fingers to close the eyelids, index finger over the eyebrows. The pinky is extra, place it where you like. You'll be closing your ears firmly with your thumbs. We'll use the M sound in the mantras, in the Bij mantras, and we'll do it 5 times. Begin with your inhale.
Release your hands back to your lap when you complete that. Rest in the sahaj, the naturalness of the meditation, the meditative state that comes through you. You rest in this meditation. Let nothing disturb you. Let nothing pull you away. Say no to those lesser desires, to say yes to the inner meditative state. in the simplicity of the quiet of the mind. The mind to be still, and also your eyes. The breath may as well be very still right now. Thoughts come and go. You can treat them like birds in the sky. Let them pass through. yourself in this state. The experience of Aparigraha, how might you apply that to your world today? And the teachings on Tiaga, giving up a lesser desire for a greater desire. Please raise your hands to your heart. Thank you very much for sharing your practice with me and with each other today. Namaste. I'd like to check in with you and see how you are, but I'm going to close the recording first. I gotta check. There we go.